Today's guest is someone who beautifully blends logic with emotion, storytelling with business, and leadership with purpose. Anant Katyayani. He began his career as a computer engineer with organizations like Infosys, Accenture, and Genpact, and later founded Kathakari Training Services, where he helped leaders and professionals communicate with clarity and impact through storytelling. With over 150 plus workshops and 5,000 plus professional trained, Anand also stays deeply connected to social impact through his family run NGO Muktidhara, working with nomadic tribes in Rajasthan. Please join me in welcoming Anant Katyayani. So, Anant, you started your career as a computer engineer. So, what did you learn there in your corporate life from the people, from the work?
Absolutely. I come from a small town background. I belong to a city called Alwar, quite near to NCR, but miles away from that mindset, which is the urban mindset or metro city mindset. Growing up, I was completely a vernacular medium student, all
Okay.
the way till college life. In fact, so much so that uh, my course books were in English, exams were in English, pass books actually, which we read and got passed, were in English.
Okay.
Teachers used to teach in Hindi.
Oh,
20 years ago, well, that was the reality of engineering. I'm sure at many places the reality has not changed a bit. So when this small well fish came actually into an ocean called Infosys or then Accenture, I realized how limited my worldview, my exposure was. So corporate world actually gave me an exposure of how people are known for their skills rather than their designations. There was one particular student incident when the founder of Infosys, Mr. Narayan Murthy, he was right behind the table where we were having food with our friends.
oh,
And we saw a very humble gentleman who stood in queues with us, who never jumped the line just because he was a CEO or he was a founder. And those tiny stories of values, morals, they ingrained something crucial in me and millions like me as employees. So I think that's biggest takeaway for me is people from small town can really make it big if they just have a core set of beliefs and a vision and the drive to just continue. So I think in many ways that journey into the in the IT world that has played its part in making me who I am today.
oh, that's great story. So, at some point, from core IT field, you shift into coaching, leadership training, and then storytelling. So, what was that moment or that realization that triggered you to shift into something different?
Well, there is this word called epiphany, which I'm sure you may have heard. Epiphany is a moment of awakening or realization. I believe somewhere in this journey, which gradually gravitated towards this moment being freelance trainer and soft skills coach, leadership coach, storyteller that you see today. Uh, well, seeds were planted right from beginning, even before my IT or my engineering career. Uh, I come from a small town named Viratnagar in Rajasthan. It's between Alwar and Jaipur. This is actually one of the 20 something Janpadas, the old republics that India used to have even before Ashokas and other kings came. These were the earliest forms of democracies or local rule, council based rules that we had long before even Greeks. So Viratnagar is that town which finds reference in Mahabharata as well. Pandavas, they spent their hidden exile of 1 year over there, the 13th year. Emperor Ashoka came after the great Kalinga war and took 1 year sabbatical and cleansed his psyche, his soul, and became from Chand Ashoka to Dham Ashoka and spread Buddhism, Buddha's teaching, Vipassana meditation across the Southeast Asia and the world. This is a place where lots of people have come. So naturally, coming from this humble place, but this ancient place, there were stories. And then my grandfather, he actually gave me a thick binder of Mahabharata written in Hindi when
Okay.
I was very young. And I love to read comic books, story books, a lot of Raj comics, Diamond comics I have read. But that Mahabharata binder, that stayed with me. So much so that at one point I could recite all the 100 names of Kauravas. And lots of these anecdotes, these stories, they somehow they stayed with me even when I grew up. So somewhere I did not know that I had an affinity for stories, be it text, be it movies, be it songs which had folklores in it, and somewhere I felt that I had a good memory power when it came to history and geography as subjects as well in academics. I could remember the names, places, people, dates. So in a way, you can say that yes, storytelling was actually getting bigger and bigger as an affection, as an affinity for me. But then when core IT career and in that engineering as a subject came, and when I graduated from it, somewhere I felt we were just doing this for getting good grades, marks, passing. That's it. We were never learning anything concrete in it.
Right.
So in my engineering days, I remember in my hostel at JECRC Jaipur, we actually played a lot of cricket, Counter Strike, the earlier cousin of today's PUBG and Free Fire. So in hostel days, we made good memories with it. And somewhere I feel the extracurricular activities that I did in my engineering days, I learned my peers, we learned more in it than our academics. And the trend continued when I joined corporate, and while doing corporate, it was a rat race, it was a bhed chal, so we were just following where our peers went. So of course, after doing science, math in 11th, 12th, what do you do? Engineering, we did engineering. After doing engineering, what do you do? Infosys, TCS, Accenture, we did that as well. But while doing that, I saw a lot of people coming from different sets of background, different sets of beliefs and aspirations. Some were preparing for UPSC, some were preparing for other exams. A lot of us were preparing for MBA as well. In the MBA preparation, that is where I realized, all right, this is again a rat race to get good grades in math, in reasoning, in English, clearing interviews. And when I did join MBA at NMIMS Mumbai, somewhere, with due respect, there also I felt we were learning less in the classroom or from the academics or the books or the teachers, even from peers. We were actually learning more in the city outside, in the city of Mumbai, on the streets, taking part in competitions, case studies. And in all these places, there were stories, use cases, business stories, case studies, which actually played its part. So naturally, 1 year or 1.5 year into the job, just around the time I got married, thanks to Toastmasters, the 15-year long association by now, at that time it was nearly a 7-year mark, I felt the confidence enough while I was in Hyderabad to quit the corporate world and get into soft skills side, because through and through my experience was on the technical front. Interestingly enough, my last job in corporate was with Genpact. In Genpact, I was a Quality Six Sigma black belt. Bulk of my day-to-day work was running projects on automation, how to digitize, how to create productivity, finding ways in which 100 people worth of work can be done by 40 people maybe by the end of the year. And this moment of epiphany, I just recalled, it struck me. One day, while doing, while on a tea and coffee break with a friend, we were just discussing and we were just casually joking around. Hey, what if one day there comes a program, there comes a technology that replaces even us, automates our work? And I was like, damn, what if I don't have a skill when the AI eventually comes or the automation eventually comes, and even my skill, this post-MBA world skill, even that is deemed irrelevant? What do I do then? At that day, I did the true SWOT analysis of mine. Not in MBA days, not later in the corporate. That day, I did true SWOT analysis of mine. And I realized the biggest strength that I had was people skills, or talking to people, facing customers, showing empathy and compassion, and understanding someone's true issues, putting myself in their shoes. a little bit of motivation using stories, personal anecdotes, mythology or history based
And going
stories
beyond logic
beyond
and
logic.
yeah.
So having that human connect or that human moment, for example, that we are having right now with viewers as well, that came out as my core strength because technologies were changing every 6 months or so.
Right.
The programming languages we studied in the college, the moment we joined Infosys, we found out, hey, this is not being used at all. And would you believe, even today, many of those languages and technologies are still being taught without having a direct connect with the industry. So, yes, that was my moment of epiphany, and I found my calling in the world of soft skills and storytelling.
Okay. The name Kathakari itself is a powerful. So what Kathakari mean to you?
Okay. So, we did discuss about storytelling as an art that I pursue, right? The Hindi translation of the word story is katha or kahani, and storytelling is the art of kathakari.
Kathakari.
So,
Okay.
kathakari is nothing but the Hindi translation of the word storytelling. Now, interesting part is why storytelling. When I switched my career as a freelance soft skills trainer or leadership coach, I was suggested to make a specialization in this generic field of soft skills. So, of
Okay.
course, there is a general purpose that we have. Let's say I call myself a soft skills trainer. But in soft skills and behavioral trainings, what exactly is my core field? People have NLP, people have business storytelling or business communication. I figured out storytelling as a powerful tool because, as I told you, I have grown up on stories and I have so many stories with me that I keep generating as an experience as well. So storytelling helped me finding my mission as well. And my mission was, if you go on my website kathakari.com, on the very homepage, there is a mission statement of mine, which loosely talks about how the tier 2, tier 3 city students get those opportunities, get that exposure towards making a successful corporate career that I wish I could have had. Storytelling helps me create an interest, engage my audience, run my training programs with a very high customer satisfaction ratio, and at the end, actually make a difference in the whole world. And not just academics, it's not just about corporate trainings. In the field where through my NGO that I am doing some significant work, there also the stories that I capture of the beneficiaries
Okay.
and the stories that I capture from the outer world and use it to inspire or generate some aspirations among people who have absolutely no desire at all. That is where storytelling is becoming a powerful tool for me.
Okay. Storytelling is a art, not a skill.
Okay.
So what do you think? Can anyone learn that how to become a storyteller, or
Let me ask
it's
you
a
back.
born
Let
some?
me ask you back.
Okay.
At what age you started believing that you can be a storyteller?
Mm, maybe around 2 years back, I
2 years back.
realized, right?
Well, when you have already started a decade back your corporate career, so right.
Yeah.
Roughly around age of 30, 35, people start believing, okay, now we have become mature adults. Now we perhaps can call ourselves, ki, yeah, we are a student of storytelling.
Storytelling.
Let me tell you, humans are born storytellers. Small children, observe them. Little kids, I have a 5-year-old at home. He tells me stories day and night, sometimes making excuses, sometimes persuading us, sometimes entertaining us, sometimes even saying something so deep that ends up motivating us. So, all these things, when they are happening, why do we not believe that we are all storytellers? We just need to refine this art and craft. You call it an art, I call it a science, someone may else may call it a sham, irrespective.
Still, right.
Storytelling is what makes us human. Otherwise, what's
Right.
the difference between us and the rest of the animal world? It's the ability to use the thumbs, it's the ability to walk instead of crawl, and it's the ability to articulate ideas, inspirations, concepts, and pass them down generation to generation. Even before the invention of paper and writing, we use stories
Right.
to propagate all those ideas. So we have storytelling as an art, as a science, as a craft. You call it anything, but storytelling is core DNA of us.
Yes. So what I think, 2 years back when I just started storytelling, so uh, I thought I didn't have any story.
Okay.
I just started noticing around myself that okay, this is something happening. What about this girl? And then I realized so story is always around us. We just
Absolutely.
have to find out and structure them that this is how we can tell the
And
story.
here is my trick. I did the same exercise in 2019.
Okay.
On my website, I took a resolution in 2019 that before calling myself a storyteller, I will become a story writer first. I will not just curate some popular stories across the world, I will also start writing something fictional.
Okay.
Short stories, observational stories, daily life stories, some, you know, crazy stories as well. So to do that, I started writing a blog on my website and I gave that a name. My name is Anant, so I called it Infinity Jams. So I wrote some 125 or something Infinity Jams. You can watch that on my website, on my blog, by the way. In those stories, some of the days I took an inspiration by sitting in Orbit Mall of Hyderabad in the food court and I observed people around me, similar to you.
Yeah.
I observed people around me and I put myself in their shoes. There was a retired army man who was still, sitting with that aura and sitting in that fatigue. And I just looked at him from a distance. He was sitting alone, having a cup of coffee, and someone brought some snacks for him. But he was all sitting alone for good 1 hour. I was sitting by choice. I don't know about him. But that gave me an idea. Okay, what may be the reason that this person is sitting alone? What may be going in his mind? Let me create something fictional around this real world inspiration. And that's how I started writing stories.
Okay.
There were days when I was on railway platform. There were days when I was in a classroom, or I was, in a flight, waiting for that flight. Flight got delayed, and I saw a family quibbling, quarrying, doing all sorts of dramas that typical families do on an airport like that. And I saw something cute, something nice, something everyday life, but they were a interesting bunch of characters for me for good 1 hour or so, and that is where I generated this art, this practice to find out characters which are real world based characters in my stories, even if it's a fictional story. So that's something my biggest learning that happened with storytelling. That storytelling is not about writing an Avengers Infinity War level of stories. Stories can be as powerful as lunchbox, a misplaced lunchbox, a miscommunication, creating an Oscar-worthy story. Why not? So every one of us has these daily life stories around us. It's just a matter of how interestingly we can give it a structure, make relatable characters draw out, pop out of the page, and uh, giving it a conflict which feels fulfilling with the resolution that we present. That's it.
Okay. So can you give us any structure that how should we start writing a story, or is there any specific structure for the story or something?
I have a story curve, and the
Curve.
story
Okay.
curve is a four-piece structure. It's essential to every commonplace stories, be it books, be it movies, be it TV series, be it 2 minutes of content, be it 20 hours of content, irrespective. Uh, what essentially happens is the story doesn't really begin with the introduction of the problem. The story starts with something called a context setting. Take example of a South Indian movie or Bollywood movie for that matter. But South Indian because everything is exaggerated
Yeah.
mostly over there. So there is a everyday life. There is a place, there is a time, there are a bunch of villagers or city-based people, and something happens on everyday basis. There is a central interesting character. A lot of times a hero is given the royal entry, slow motion entry and all. The
Right.
girl comes something like this, right? So all that happens just to highlight some interesting point of views that, this is the person that we have to align with or empathize with. Their happiness is our happiness. Their sadness is our sadness. And that's where the storytelling finds its core premise, the pillars, they called characters. But story begins with their everyday life, and then this everyday flatline takes a shift. Something elevates, something changes. One day, suddenly, something happened.
Yes.
Because of which something happened, because of which something else, because of which something else escalated. So, problems compounding, truly called a conflict. Now, how interesting or believable or organic that conflict
Conflict.
is, uh, the more relatable the story becomes. Resolution also comes then organically with some intervention, external or internal. It cannot be a force fit kind of thing. So, if the conflict rises, the resolution diffuses.
Diffuses.
But the story doesn't end over there. There is, again, what happened afterwards. Lord of the Rings, Lagan, take any popular story other than that, movies, comic books,
Series, right.
famous literary works from Shakespeare to Rabindranath Tagore, everywhere the format, consciously or subconsciously, must be there. I call it a story curve. I'll put the link of it and the visuals of it in this interview
Yeah,
itself.
that would be
However,
great.
there is 22 rules of storytellings by Pixar Studios, one of the most legendary set of artists who have created some memorable story works in animated industry. Pixar, the story spine or story curve that I made around, that was from the rule number 6 of these 22 rules itself.
Okay.
So this is something which is ancient, commonplace, everyday wisdom. It's just a way of how you simplify it even further. So I call my story curve based on this common principle as the story curve for beginners in storytelling. Of
Okay.
course, you can have a circular loop, you can have a sequel-based storytelling or things like that. But this is a commonplace, a very, very simplistic structure that everyone should be aware of.
So Anant, in last 8 years, you have trained almost 5,000 plus professionals, 150 plus workshop.
Yeah.
What was your experience?
See, when it comes to communication, I remember 2011 when I first joined my corporate Infosys, straight from the college. My first awakening was, hey, I need to improve my English. And that continued to be my goal in life for the next 3 years. In fact, in the college days itself, when my peers used to go for programming level language coaching, I used to go for English speaking courses.
Okay.
And my friends know from college, they laugh about it still. But I knew that I need to plug this gap. This was my learning gap because many of my peers were from CBSE. I was a Rajasthan medium educated person. Then 3 years in the corporate, I prepared for MBA, for MBA interviews specifically, and got somehow after a couple of years of struggle into MBA as well. And then goalpost shifted a little bit from pre MBA interviews to job interviews after MBA. That became a goal for communication. That phase passed. But finally, something when I joined in Genpact and became a technical manager, sort of, that is where my understanding of communication became really, really widespread. Because I met some illustrious people, some of the best people I have met in entire career, and none of them were from my academic or my workplace. They were all called Toastmasters in Hyderabad. So a huge shout out to them. I learned that communication is not just about English at all. There were people speaking Telugu. There were people speaking equally competently in Hindi. And there were people who taught me that communication is the art of conveying your idea with conviction and getting a desired response or a call to action from the intended parties. Today, that learning stays with me 8 year long. 8 year onwards, I have shifted cities, shifted so many houses. Finally, I am back to where it all began, Alwar and Viratnagar, the places where I was born and brought up. And I'm managing my corporate assignments, all my social work completely from here, partly online, partly physical, traveling to places and all. And my learning that I finally got in Hyderabad, that communication is the art of touching a human soul, striking someone's heartstrings, getting to know their perspective and exchanging your perspective completely in the intended manner. No mutation in that idea at all. That helps me today to be a man wearing many hats. I go to corporate, I take leadership coachings, CXO level coachings as well individually. A few clients I have worked with. I have a huge illustrious clientele in the last 8 years that I have worked with. Some repeat clients with consistently 4.5 out of 5 star ratings. My recent assignment with L&T Edutech, I got around 4.9 out of 5 star rating on something called design thinking. Now, this is again a skill which closely aligns with my philosophy of communication and what is exactly communication, completely driven by empathy and human factor. But despite all of that, primarily English, a few assignments in Hindi, etc. as well. You would be surprised to know that bulk of my work happens with rural level people. People in not just around us, people in extremely tribal areas or completely forest areas where there is no electricity, there is no mobile network. To go there, speak in their dialect, understanding their issues, and getting a project executed in those areas requires a degree of trust to be built. My understanding of communication today helps me to build that trust easily and quickly with the beneficiaries. I have gone to Shekhawati area of Rajasthan, the North Gujarat region on behalf of TCS in the past, where I did some social CSR work as an educator in the field of English language, logical reasoning, mathematics, interview readiness, etc. For people who had no intention for that, I convinced them once they put in the hard work and they got selected for some BPO level jobs, BA, BCom people who had no aspiration to join IT world at all. Then I was able to convince their parents as well. Sometimes for some girls, their mother-in-laws or father-in-laws I convinced. Some of them are working today in Delhi NCR and Gandhinagar, etc. That's something I call as my professional achievement. This had nothing to do with my initial goal, building English competency. That would have taken me only so far in certain circles. Today, I can proudly say that I can modulate my language depending on who I am dealing with and still get the job done. Lastly, the NGO that I am working with right now, my family NGO, Muktidhara Sansthan, many of the beneficiaries are from the villages which speak my native tongue. So it's not like there is someone from metro cities who can speak good English, right? Like we are speaking right now. That person is sitting among them. No, you won't find that version of Anant over there at all. They will not find it relatable over there. મને ઉડે પૂરી મારવાડી બોલની પડે છે और completely મારવાડી में ही बात करूँ છું मारवाड़ी में बात कौन करो तो भगा देगा मुना उड़ा से तो पूरी मुझे वहाँ पे बात करनी पड़ती है इस तरह से.
Okay. So it is not just about the English, it is about the confidence of expressing your thoughts.
It is about gauging what the other party is interested in listening, what language they are interested or comfortable in listening, and do you have the ability to speak in their language. It's not just about language per se, it's about the choice of words. It's about the right intonation or the mannerisms or even the subtle body language they would like to see.
Right.
If you have that compassion, that empathy, that facial expression, that largely again Toastmasters has taught me, this experience is priceless. But that is where I have learned the real world applications of it in the social sector as well.
आपने अभी एक टर्म यूज किया डिजाइन थिंकिंग कैन यू डिफाइन इट इन अ वेरी सिंपल वर्ड बिकॉज आई डोंट थिंक मेनी पीपल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज डिजाइन थिंकिंग और इट इज समथिंग रिलेटेड टू डिजाइन और व्हाट
You are not the only one thinking that way. Many people who hear the word first time well, they hear, okay, it is something to do with UX design or website design or digital designs. No,
Right.
design thinking is a way of life. It's all about doing anything, not just designing a product or service or a page. It's doing anything with the intention of how the end user or the beneficiary or the completely person who is going to be the eventual user of this object or item or concept, how easy it will be for them. Take example, a popular concept called umbrella. I ask people to, okay, day one of design thinking workshop, design an umbrella, and they start designing straight away. It can have this button, that feature, that Bluetooth connectivity, and And then I ask, but who is going to use? And they say, all right, everyone can use. But then I say, okay, the product will fail then if it doesn't know who is going to use it. If senior citizens are going to use this umbrella, uh, would they want the mobile apps or connectivity, etc. over there? Perhaps not. If the intended participants are school or college children, can they afford this high-tech umbrella? Well, it fails for them as well. So knowing the customer first, thinking them at the center of your entire scheme of planning, and then designing everything around with their constant feedback, co-designing, co-curating it with them. That's design thinking.
Okay. So it
Right?
has nothing to do with designing.
No, it has everything to do with designing. However, not just designing in the conventional
Conventional
sense.
sense. Yeah. Right. So, can you also explain what is the difference between that critical thinking and design thinking?
Okay. Critical thinking, this is again my understanding. Critical thinking is the umbrella term or the overarching term for entire level of your logical or argument based or persuasive thinking. Design thinking is one type of critical thinking.
Okay.
Other examples can be analytical thinking or evaluations or scientific thinking, mathematical thinking,
Logical thinking.
right? So, what exactly is critical thinking? It's about, okay, you can say that it's about gathering evidences, evaluating those evidences, and then understanding the pro versus con of an argument, and then making decision instead of going by emotions or hearsay or because of some fallacy. Do not go by the red herring or false narrative or unreliable narrator or maybe the straw man arguments. So these are some of the common concepts, biases that we have. The ability to remove or go past all those biases of yours in the mind and then doing that true, transparent justice with your decision making. An example, I'm sure you go for elections to vote for a certain candidate.
Yeah.
How do you decide which candidate you are voting for? And I'm not asking exactly which candidate you voted for. That's completely personal choice. But there may be a reasoning behind that.
Yes, of
Your
course.
reasoning versus your husband's reasoning versus your father-in-law's reasoning versus your neighbor's reasoning versus your brother's reasoning completely may be different.
Maybe.
Now, in my household, I don't know who votes for which party. But if you were to support your decision in front of someone else, well, that's an argument. Now, in that argument, you present facts, the other person is supposed to present facts. A lot of times in the real society, we don't talk with facts. You take example of news debates, what happens over there? Fish
Just
market.
the argument.
So critical thinking is the ability to, not just in the public forums, but also in your personal life, evaluating your choices, making the right decisions. The more educated you are about it, about your own biases, the more sincere decisions you can take. And that's again a way of life. So design thinking is one of the ways in which the point of view is who you are doing it for, whether your corporate work or your household matters or your financial decisions. Everything is governed by, let's say, who are we doing it for? Is it going to be beneficial for that eventual beneficiary or not? If yes, then successfully design thinking done.
So you also talk about Muktidhara. And what is the meaning of Muktidhara?
Okay. This is the NGO that my late father started more than 30 years ago. The idea spawned in his experience as a young advocate in Thana Ghazi Civil Court, when he saw policemen denying a bail to one rural person just because, and crazy to believe, just because that person did not have a permanent ID card, which proved that he has a place of residence. Now this is very strange to hear today, that how can someone not have an ID card, right?
Right.
Even outsiders, the so-called
Yes.
Rohingyas and
They
Bangladeshis, as we
also
call it,
now have.
even they get an Aadhaar card easily. But for thousands of centuries, there were people in our own society who are called nomads, semi-nomads, or even there are communities which are today denotified tribes. 1872, post the 1857 freedom fighting, Britishers passed a law. They criminalized certain tribes by birth because they were the first ones to revolt against the British. Very surprising to believe that post 1947, this law continued for good 25-30 more years.
My God.
These tribes, they remained criminalized by birth. And of course, there were many tribes which were conventionally in the trades where they were nomads. I'm sure growing up, many of you as well, you must have seen those acrobats putting up those two poles and walking a tightrope in between.
Yeah, right.
Or
I
some
have
people
seen
coming
that.
with, nowadays it's banned, but snakes or monkeys or bears to put up a show.
Yeah.
Some of these, including these, and some of these were maybe in the movie Sholay. There was a song where there were Banjara tribes people. They were camping outside a village and doing their own, partying,
Right.
etc. Many of these misconceptions around these conventional trades kept them out of mainstream jobs. My father, when he saw this injustice, he decided to do something about it. In 1993, Muktidhara was born. It was founded the very same day my sister was born.
Oh.
And Muktidhara literally means built around these three principles: the freedom from fear, poverty, and corruption. Bhaya, bhook, aur bhrashtachar se mukti. So hence the word mukti. And how to assimilate or integrate these communities back to the mainstream community, the society. So that मुख्य धारा से इनको जोड़ने के लिए the word dhara. So mukti dhara. This is how Muktidhara was born. In the last 30-35 years, Muktidhara has successfully stabilized or rehabilitated many of these tribes which were wandering from 400, 500, 1000 years in the entire Aravalli belt. Many of them have now a permanent village. For that, my late father and his many associates, they revolted against the administration, peaceful revolts, sit-in protests. They gher out the then Alwar collector for 7 days for that, till their demands were heard. They were given the due attention. Later on, the government and civil society and judiciary, it came forward to support. So much so that many of these tribes today are integrated into the reservation schemes of constitution.
Okay.
Say some of them have got SBC or OBC or even SC benefits.
Can you tell some of the projects which Muktidhara is currently doing and what are the future plans?
After COVID, since I have taken the reins and after my father's untimely death, we are working on creating employment options or employable education opportunities for them. So under it, I will highlight 3 projects they have done. One was Project Ram Rajya. That project we started around the same time when the Ram temple consecration ceremony at Ayodhya was happening. So I brought the entire community together with some collection points, and the household items, clothes, toys, books, other household kitchen items, those which get discarded post Diwali, post New Year, etc. We collected it. Many people who used to gift or donate around Makar Sankranti.
Right.
Ladies, household ladies, sometimes they do those, 14 items we exchange with other ladies. So I asked them, okay, how about you donate it to the 14 ladies from certain tribes? We will be the medium. So we collected a lot of material like that, and we distributed around that fateful day of Lord Ram's consecration ceremony, the temple's ceremony. That became our project Ram Rajya. 400 families were benefited,
Okay,
and with
that's
certain dignity and respect, not like donated. They were gifted these items courtesy the mainstream communities. So Muktidhara truly living its mission value.
great.
Second item, the project item that I was able to successfully create was Project Saksham. The continuous and amazing partner called SP Jain Mumbai College, their Department of Corporate Citizenship, which sends many students for internship over at our place past many years, almost a decade. So with their students and with their college, we created this project called Project Saksham. M3M Foundation, one of the most beneficiary foundation, one of the most beneficial corporate, I can say, who are helping around so many NGOs around the country at the moment. So we had an MOU signed with them this year. So with under that MOU, we have created a project Saksham, under which we have set up not some outside remote area, but in the main village center, just next to my house, we have opened some training centers.
Okay.
In those training centers, the first installation we have done is sewing machines
Okay.
and all the peripherals that come along with it. 15 girls we have trained in the last 2 months with the basic level of tailoring skills. Some of the ladies were of the age group of 50 plus. Some of them have barely turned 18 this year. Different age groups, different castes, different professions, but all of them sharing a similar set of family background.
Right.
Families which are under poverty, families where girls don't get to have these skills, either because centers charge money, or they don't provide the raw material, or parents don't feel safe to send them to certain faraway places, or some of the centers they don't teach one skill. Well, you have to commit for an entire 6-7 hours a day over there. All those were roadblocks for many women around me. We took again this feedback in the true design thinking format. We understood their challenges and we curated a program for them. 2 hours a day, 3 such batches every day, 5 to 6 women every day, and they learned the basics of skills with me. But not leaving at just that. While the other 15 women have started their batch mid-November onwards, we are giving them now opportunities to earn livelihood with this newly learned skill. I have the first batch. I have given them order now to sew some bags for us, eco-friendly bags.
Oh, that's great.
And people like us who work in corporate, who organize conferences, or simply would like to donate or gift some of these bags to our near and dear ones, well, you can place orders with us. And that is how these women, they don't have to worry about how to procure the material, who will we sell it to, the local market doesn't have demand. No, we will be the medium again of the not-for-profit organization, and we will do all that. But at the end, इनके हाथ में 4 पैसा आना चाहिए.
Right.
So,
It's a
so
good-
this is
very good
Project
idea.
Saksham. The final project that we are about to embark upon is Project Surya Shakti. That is for those tribal people who are living in those mountainous areas where there is no electricity, there is no mobile network, and it will not come anyway because this is in Sariska Tiger Forest. So environmental restrictions. Their biggest challenge is they don't have productive lifestyle because of after sunlight, as you can see today. After sunlight, it's a loss of productivity totally. Total paralysis.
Because of no electricity.
Total paralysis. And on top of that, the household ladies who belong to farmer families and all, well, they have to go and tend to their livestock in farms and fields. Sometimes there are snake bites, there are scorpions, there are tiger attacks or panther attacks. As simple as childbirth post sunset is a nightmare. How about they have portable solar lights? So my father, some 12 years ago, he successfully distributed some of these solar lights in those regions, which solved the problem to a certain extent for 5-6 years. We are revitalizing that same project once again under the name Project Surya Shakti, and this time we are integrating again the community support for that. So a crowdfunding campaign where we are not using the word donation at all. we are taking sponsorships for these lights per family, one light, and people like us will of course support in that, and that is the idea behind integrating the mainstream communities to help these people assimilate into the mainstream communities.
Right. This are really a great program. And Anant, you balanced multiple roles: storyteller, trainer, leader, and social activist also. So, how do you avoid burnout?
There is no avoiding it. The
Okay.
roles that you mentioned, add to that a father, a husband, a son, a friend. There are many roles that you and I and everyone else has to just live with it.
Yes.
So there is always a checklist, a to-do list that I maintain for every week, let's say. If there are 30, 35 items pending, very successfully I finish 10, 12 of them today. I don't get to feel happy about it at all because 20 more get added to it immediately. So
Right.
it keeps on happening. One thing that I have learned, again, from some of the illustrious people that I have met in this journey, is you eat that frog. Recently, my friend Chandrasekhar DP, he is a CEO of Jain Group of Institutions. So he posted on LinkedIn as well that you have to follow this tactic of eat that frog. What is that unavoidable, not urgent but important work that you have to do that will give you this satisfaction of having an accomplishment checked for the
Okay.
day? You do that by, let's say, 10 a.m. of the day, and
Setting a
get
priority.
it out of your way at all completely, because the longer you delay it towards later part of the day, the more destabilizing effect it causes to the other things, because in the back of your mind that takes priority. So how about you prioritize the main thing, keep it the main thing, remove it out of your way, and then focus on the less important tasks.
Hmm. Okay.
So I mean, there are multiple ways, but of course, yes, burnout happens. Sometimes the way to deal with burnout is uh, do something that makes you happy. What makes me happy is a good movie.
Okay.
I watch some good shows. I talk to some friends. I take my kid out to the park. And of course, I try to make my wife happy by finding an online gift for her. But of course, that takes some efforts.
Of course. As you are a corporate coach, most important skills in this 21st century.
I don't know about important or not important or what will the future behold. As of today, some must have. You cannot live without skills are design skills. If you are someone who does not know how to make efficient and faster and neat looking PPTs, uh, that's something you have to have under your belt. A faster way that you can do around it is use Canva, because that helps you not create something from the scratch, but already an existing template you can find and play around with it. And now onwards, I think Canva allows you to even code or design websites and do all sorts of business productivity completely. The next skill is, of course, public speaking. The worst idea that you ever share on stage is still better than the best idea you don't find the courage to share. Even if you are thinking wise, skill wise, the best person, if you don't know how to articulate or create a visibility for yours the right way, it's useless because it's a cutthroat competition. Your soft skills will keep you in limelight, will keep you closer to opportunities, and of course will create an never before opportunity for you. If you are someone who is looking for ways, well, Toastmasters is one way where a Hindi medium graduated person can comfortably answer your rapid fire questions. And of course, the third and final skill is emotional intelligence. This is coming from someone who has perhaps a very irritating personality, uh, someone who seems good to outsiders, but you ask my family members, I'm very demanding, I'm very impatient, and I'm everything that you would not like to spend someone who has that time with. But somewhere I had this one habit of keeping my criticizers around me. So my wife, my brother, my closest friends, my close associates, I keep listening to whatever they tell me you are doing this wrong. And I listen to it with full attention. I don't defend myself mostly, mostly, but I keep listening to what they say, because if not today, by just that act of acknowledging and listening, maybe in the longer run, maybe 10 days later, maybe when I'm in better mood, maybe where I'm more willing to accept my faults, I'll remember that conversation. It will help me course correct next time. So keep your criticizers close to you. This is an emotional intelligence that you have to generate.
Now, for the young professionals who want to make a meaningful career, what a small habit or the mindset they should have?
All right. I'm sure you will meet a lot of people who will say that you should have financial education, you should have technical skills, you should embrace AI. Well, I'm not into that. The one skill a young professional who really wants to make faster and bigger in the corporate world, what they should have is connections, networking. If you surround yourself with 5 people at least better than you are sorted. That's what I did in my MBA days. That's what I have been doing for all those years as a trainer in the field. I keep interacting, I keep taking mentoring, I keep taking evaluations and feedback from people who I know have my growth in their intentions, but they will never shy away from calling a spade a spade. So keep yourself with people better than you. By just being in that company, in that gathering, you are raising your own standards. So for young professionals, it is extremely critical what 5 people you are an average of closest to you. The company that you decides, whether friends or enemies, that defines you as an individual.
If your life is a story, what would be the title of that chapter?
Give me a second then.
Sure.
So many things that I cannot say are coming to my mind right now. uh, I think on the very fundamental level, it will be the man who said yes.
Okay.
The man who said yes. There are moments in life when we have this self doubt. What if? What if not? Um, I believe in the philosophy when an opportunity comes, say yes, we'll figure it out later. That has been my mantra in corporate life as well.
Okay.
Uh, because when I started my training career, um, it actually gave me a perspective. I did not take anything for granted. Any opportunity, even if it was not a paying opportunity, it was a favor or a pro bono opportunity that coming my way. Even if the audience were children in a school, even for half an hour, and I had to travel 2 hours for it, I said yes, because some of these opportunities have made me who I am today. A good facilitator, an engaging trainer, and someone who knows what my audience would like to hear and what are their challenges or needs. So, some of these opportunities would not have come my way at all had I not said yes to an opportunity previous to it. And today, I said yes to your offer of podcast. Who
Podcast.
knows what opportunities next it will unlock?
Definitely.
So, man who said yes.
That's a good name. Okay. Now, one last question. What is your dream and how are you nurturing it today?
I have quit that dream of looking at myself at stage, gathered with so many people, holding those trophies and all. No, I have grown actually past it. Today, I find myself sitting closer to the backbenchers, people who are on the margins, people who live under the shadows. And if I can bring them out of the shadows, if I can create some impact for the society, the people who are living at the last mile, if I can make something meaningful, as simple as bringing maybe solar lights to them, or maybe bringing a skill center to them, or just maybe create some free of cost Aadhaar cards for them, it matters very much to them, because some of these facilities they cannot even imagine available to them, or they cannot afford it.
Okay.
So that act of simple random kindness, the very minor dent in the universe, if I'm able to make, in the longer run, if that changes even one life, and if that one life grows big enough to be recognized across the globe, I think as an educator, as a teacher, as a social activist, I have done my due for the society.
Okay, that's great. This is a small handmade gift for you.
Thank you.
It was created by me and
Wow.
it may remind you about our today's conversation.
Well, these are the moments I live for.
Uh,
Thank you.
Anand, thank you for sharing your story, your journey, and especially your insight with us. Your overall journey is really inspiring, and I'm really sure that our viewers have already taken away many good things from your journey. Thank you so much
My pleasure.
for adding a new verse in this journey.
Wish you success on this initiative of yours as well. And thank you so much for sharing my story, my journey with the whole world. I don't know whether inspiring or not, but
It
if
is.
it brings me closer to even one new friend in life, why not? Thank you so much, and wish you all the best as well.
Thank you so much, Anand.